I don't know where the whole RGB PC trend came from. It kind of spurred up out of nowhere this year, it seems, and now everything's RGB. But I do remember that I jumped on the bandwagon about 6 months ago with my first semi-white build, and I realized that white surfaces in a case tend to reflect any color LED that's being shown on that surface. So that's why I still stick with white PCs today. I just have that flexibility. If I want a purple build, I can just change the LED to purple, and there you go. But we've taken it a step further with this build right here. It seems like every other tech tuber has tackled the RGB themed PC video. I know I'm late to the party, but I think this one gives everyone else a run for their money. Check out how good this thing looks. I'd like to give a huge shout out first off to NZXT for sending over their S340 Elite in the white variant for obvious reasons, as well as their Hue Plus and AER RGB fans. I made sure that I installed the Hue Plus correctly and used the correct PSU cable. You can double check me on that. Other components in this build include the Intel i7-5820K 6-core 12-thread Haswell E CPU. I didn't go with the 6800K because I got this Haswell E chip for a steal. But if you find these CPUs for about the same price, obviously the 6800K is the way to go. 14nm architecture, slightly more power efficient, things like that. But these chips are pretty much on par with each other in terms of performance. You won't notice a huge difference by choosing one over the other. The motherboard I'm using is an ASRock X99 Taichi. It's my X99 motherboard of choice, and I do recommend it absolutely for anyone looking to build an X99 system on the cheap. It's not a $500 motherboard or anything like that, anything crazy. You can pick this board up for about $200 to $220, and I have it linked in this video description along with all the other parts in this PC. I went with a single GTX 1070 from EVGA in this parts list in order to keep the overall price down, although I do recommend for this build here either a GTX 1080 or two 1070s like I have behind me. I just went in and threw the second card in after the fact, but all these B-roll clips you're seeing here, all of those are going to include a single 1070 just because if you want to build what is in the video description, then you'll only have a single 1070, or if you swap that for a 1080, a single one of those. The CPU cooler choice, I'll admit, is a bit unorthodox. I went with a CryoRig C1, also in the video's description. It's a beefy cooler. It's a heck of a cooler for an ITX form factor, although it won't fit into something like a Fractal Node 202. Not enough height clearance there, but it looks especially cool in a tempered glass case like this, even for an ATX build. I do recommend it. I just like the fan facing me. I don't know, I do. Now, surprisingly, given the way that the C1 is oriented in this build, I actually had enough room to install G.Skill Trident Z DDR4 underneath it. These have custom heatsinks on them, you know, this isn't like bare PCB here. So there's enough clearance under there for, you know, decent looking RAM, not stuff that's like super crazy. I don't think any, you know, Corsair Dom Plats or anything like that would fit underneath. But I didn't even install anything on that side, believe it or not. I chose some really cool looking DIMMs. Check these out. Now you're probably wondering where the RAM is. Usually it's installed at this point. It's because I have something special to show you. Hall of Fame DDR4 capable of 3600 megahertz. It's two 8GB DIMMs here. This is from Galax. Just check out the packaging. The packaging itself is a telltale sign that these DIMMs are very important and very beautiful. Check that out. Just look how good a single stick of this Hall of Fame RAM is. Oh, Galax has been asking me for a while now about the inclusion of these DIMMs into a build. I told him I would be doing one shortly, but I wanted to wait for just the right moment. You can't find an X99 board that has a white PCB. This is about as close as it gets. The MSI X99 Titanium is a silver build, so it just looked a little weird having white RAM and silver PCB. But I think that the ASRock X99 Taichi is a good fit for it. We do have white accents on the cooler, and of course, our S340 Elite is all white on the inside, and if you didn't know, there are LEDs in the RAM as well, and these are of course white. So yeah, I think it'll all work together very well. These DIMMs are some of the most beautiful I have ever seen, and you can find these in the video's description if you're interested. They're hard to get a hold of, but trust me, it's worth the wait. So yeah, and I installed them into slots A1 and B1 on the left-hand side of the motherboard. Nothing's on the right-hand side because you couldn't see anything over there anyway. So it works out fine that way. Everything functions properly. I'm running them right now at 3600 megahertz without a hitch on the ASRock X99 Taichi. The only thing I am a little bit let down about, I don't know why, but neither of the LEDs in either module are working. There's supposed to be a breathing effect going on, but they're not doing that, and I'm pretty sure they're supposed to do that out of the box. I looked for software, couldn't find any software to configure them, so I don't know what to tell you there. That's a bit of a letdown. Perhaps just just got some faulty DIMMs. For the power supply, Be Quiet sent over another 1000 watt Dark Power Pro 11. Yeah, it's super overkill, but this power supply is super quiet, and that is a huge, important thing for me. I can't stand hearing the power supply just spooling up the way that some of them do. This power supply does not do that at all. It is virtually silent, and I absolutely love it. For storage, I went with a good old SSD plus hard disk drive combo, never hurts, a 500GB Samsung 850 EVO, along with a 1TB Western Digital Black. It's the one I keep recycling from build to build, only because all of my Steam games are on there, which is great for benchmarking. Lastly, I would like to mention the custom sleeve cables sent over by CableMod. They actually sent them over a few months ago, and I used them in a previous PC, so I just recycled them, threw them into here. They're all white, so it works. We have an 8-pin EPS up top, 24-pin, and then two 8-pin VGAs. These are extensions, so they work with any power supply, including the Dark Power Pro 11 from Be Quiet. I don't think I forgot anything. If you'd like to see maybe a benchmark of a single 1070 to 5820K versus a 6700K and the same graphics card just for comparison's sake, let me know if you'd like to see something like that in the comments below. Give this one a thumbs up if you thought the build was cool. If you thought the build sucked, give it a dislike. Be sure to click the subscribe button if you haven't already, and stay tuned for an official review, finally, of the Deepcooled Genome. This is a revised version that also comes with the PCIe riser card, which means that you can orient your graphics card this way. You get my point. This is Salazar Studio. Thanks for learning with us.